everyone, and welcome to another episode of Tiny Matters with Dr. K. I am Dr. Kutso Sivatsiva. Today, we're talking about something that so many families, including my own, worry about. Screens. Phones, tablets, televisions, and gaming devices. Screens are everywhere in modern childhood, and many parents find themselves asking the same question. Is my child spending too much time on the screen? Or more worryingly, is my child addicted to the screen? Today, we're unpacking what screen time actually does to developing brains, what the science says, and how to navigate this addiction without panic or guilt. So let's start with the science. Screens are designed to capture attention. Fast-moving images, bright colors, loud, vibrant music, and reward pathways all stimulate something in the brain called the dopamine pathway. Now, dopamine is a neurotransmitter in the brain involved in reward, motivation, and pleasure. When children watch stimulating digital content, their brain receives repeated shots of dopamine that can make that screen feel extremely rewarding. This is why it's so difficult to stop once they've started watching something. Now, research has suggested that excessive screen time in children may affect attention and self-regulation. It doesn't mean that every child who watches a screen will develop attention problems, but when screens replace activities like imaginative play, conversation, reading, and physical movement, children may lose opportunities to perfect normal, important developmental skills. Another consistent finding is the relationship between screens and sleep. Screens emit blue light, which suppresses melatonin, the hormone that helps us sleep peacefully at night. Late evening screen use is associated with later bedtimes, reduced duration of sleep, and poorer sleep quality. And for children whose brains are still developing, sleep is essential for memory, learning, and emotional regulation. Now, different organizations have offered guidance around responsible screen usage. For example, under the age of 18 months, the recommendation says no screens except video calls with known family members and friends. Now, for children aged 2 to 5, screens must be limited to an hour or less of high-quality digital programming per day. But guidelines are only part of the conversation. The reality is, the quality of the screen time matters so much more than the quantity. Not all screen time is the same. Interactive or educational content that offers conversation or engagement with a caregiver can be far more rewarding than passive viewing. For example, watching a program together and discussing what you see is far better than just a cartoon. In contrast, long periods of passive scrolling offer very little developmental support to the growing brain. Many parents, like myself, often worry that screen time use has become excessive or is becoming unhealthy. How can you tell? A few warning signs include intense distress when screens are removed, loss of interest in other activities, sleep disruption, or difficulty concentrating without digital stimulation. These patterns may suggest that the use of screens is crowding out other sensory experiences. Many parents have tried to get rid of screens and failed dismally. Rather than eliminating screen time completely, many families have benefited from creating healthy, intentional digital habits. For example, screen-free meals, screen-free bedrooms, clear time limits for younger children, and prioritizing outdoor play, learning, and conversation. Children learn digital behavior largely from adults, so modeling healthy screen habits is very important. Now, screens are not inherently harmful. They are simply tools. But childhood development depends so heavily on emotional interaction, conversation, and movement. The goal was never to eliminate technology, but to ensure that screens don't replace the experiences that help children to grow. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Tiny Matters with Dr. K. Parenting in the digital age comes with a new set of challenges, but also with new opportunities. Until the next time, stay kind and stay curious.